Get results with effective conversations.
Oh, no. You looking forward to this, too?
Where'd you get that?
Your jeans.
It's not even mine. It's Tom's. Put the phone down. You think I'm crazy? Why do you always think that I'm lying to you? Oh, you know what? That's all you really care about, isn't it? Your stupid rules!
Today we're going to talk about drug use and how to communicate its dangers to your child's health and safety. Over 50% of American teens have admitted to using marijuana at least once. It's unnatural for a child to be curious about something so pervasive in our culture. The more you can help them understand why the use of drugs and alcohol is dangerous to their health, the more likely they are to resist the temptation. It's our job as parents to start talking to our children at a young age about the health and safety consequences of drug use, and then frequently revisit the conversation. Be careful to keep these conversations judgment-free. The minute a kid feels like you're judging them or their friends, they'll stop reaching out to you. Don't lecture. Instead, create an environment where your child is comfortable engaging in a dialogue with you. They should feel free to bring you their questions of things they might want to discuss, like the frequently shifting legal environment, behaviors they observe in their friends' households, and physical and mental health questions about drug use. By the time your kids enter their teens, they should be aware of your family's rules in this crucial area. Empower your kids to collaborate with you in creating the consequences that will arise if they break the rules. Make sure they understand why the loss of driving privileges, earlier curfews, restrictions on interactions with friends, and other kinds of restrictions will be consequences of drug use and possession. Keep in mind that kids model the behavior they observe. Be careful not to use even prescription drugs in their presence and then tell them that drug use is unhealthy. Don't drink to excess and then expect them to believe your explanations about the dangers of alcohol. If you do enjoy an occasional drink or glass of wine with dinner, incorporate this into your conversation. Explain the difference between getting drunk and having a glass of wine or one drink. Make it clear that you never drink and drive, and that you do not drink enough to cause yourself physiological damage. Always be honest with your kids if you want them to be honest with you. Let's see how one mother handles a conversation where she discovers her child is in possession of drugs.
Oh, no. Oh, he didn't. Oh. Hey.
Hey.
How was school?
Same as yesterday, but the game's tomorrow, so at least I've got something to look forward to.
Hey, what about this? You looking forward to this, too?
Where'd you get that?
Your jeans.
You know what? It's not even mine. It's Tom's. I'm just holding it for him.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Okay, maybe I'll just call Tom's mom and tell her I found this.
No, put the phone down.
Don't point that at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you, okay? Do you think I'm crazy?
I don't know what to think about you. Are you going to tell me the truth?
Why do you always think that I'm lying to you?
'Cause you are.
Only when your stupid rules make me. Okay, everybody smokes weed. It's even legal if you have the little card.
Well, you don't have that little card. You could have gotten kicked out of school for this, possibly even arrested. And now you broke one of the major house rules.
Oh, you know what? That's all you really care about, isn't it? Your stupid rules. You know what? Fine.
Oh, no. What are you...
Hey!
Oh, no.
Happy?
You didn't. No, I'm not happy. Damn it!
Stop acting like
Come
you
back
know
here!
me!
Come back here!
Sarah was justifiably angry with Michael. It's clear from their conversation that they had previously discussed the rules around drug use in her home and that Michael had knowingly broken them. However, the tactics Sarah chose to reveal her discovery only serve to make the situation worse. Parents are human and they're entitled to be angry and hurt and to feel that their trust has been betrayed. However, to effectively parent our children, we must calm ourselves before approaching them, even if this means removing ourselves from them for a few minutes. Of course, if your child or another child is in immediate danger of bodily harm because of your child's behavior, you must first ensure that everyone's safe. Then, whether your reaction to the situation is anger or fear, you have to find a way to calm yourself before initiating a discussion. The human animal reacts to anger and fear the same way. Adrenaline floods their frontal cortex and they lose the ability to think rationally. Their systems move into a state of fight or flight where no good parenting strategies can form. A child seeing their parent angry or afraid perceives themselves to be in danger and are also thrust into a fight or flight state. Now there are two people in a conversation requiring calm, rational responses who are physiologically unable to act rationally. If Sarah was still angry with Michael when he came home from school, she should have waited to initiate the conversation about what she discovered. She already had the drugs in her possession, so Michael was no longer in danger. When initiating an important conversation with children, or anyone for that matter, it's best to make sure that you have their full attention. You should also make sure that they are not hungry, tired, or immersed in homework or prepping for a test.
I can't let him get away with this.
You looking forward to this too?
He's trying to play me for a fool.
Where'd you get that?
I'm the only one in his corner.
Don't spring the conversation on him in a gotcha mode, as Sarah did. Instead, let the kid know you want to discuss something that's upset you and ask if this is a good time to do it. If they tell you no, don't insist on having the conversation right then. Ask them to suggest a time when it would be good to speak.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Of course I'm lying. How else am I supposed to survive here?
Put the phone down.
Be careful not to shame, blame, or call your child names. If you call your kid a liar or impute that they're crazy, as Sarah did, you may be reinforcing a negative self-image your child already has of themselves. This negative self-image may be one of the reasons they're self-medicating with drugs. By creating a situation where they feel worse about themselves, you may inadvertently be creating an even greater desire in them to escape through drugs. You're also deflecting attention from their actions and putting the attention on them as a person. A fundamental rule of parenting is to always make it clear that you care for your child as a person and that it's their actions that are disappointing you.
Didn't. No, I'm not happy. Damn it!
Stop acting like
Come
you
back
know
here!
me!
Come back here!
If your child is a foster child, you're likely parenting a kid who's been traumatized. Traumatized kids are much more prone to drug and alcohol abuse than other kids are. The part of their brain that operates their fight or flight reaction is often stuck in a perpetual on state. An abundance of adrenaline is constantly flooding their system, making it difficult for them to deal with situations logically and rationally. An additional side effect of this trauma is that many foster kids are chronologically one age, yet developmentally a much younger age. Adding to their frustration, society judges them based on how old they appear, not how old they are emotionally and intellectually. All of this leads to a desire to dull their pain from the memory of the trauma or to forestall feeling pain at all. They're looking for a chemical timeout. What these children don't understand is that the drugs always wear off and the pain will always come roaring back. The word discipline comes from the Latin word for instruction. Ideally, you're trying to instruct your child how to behave properly when you discover that they've broken a rule, especially one that's designed to keep them safe and healthy. So always have a clear goal and objective for teaching in mind when you go into a teaching conversation. Never start a conversation about drug use when your child is under the influence. Clearly, they're not going to remember what was said. In approaching any conversation about suspected or known drug use, never use why questions, such as, why did you break the rules, or why do you want to take drugs? This accusatory approach will only shut down the channels of honest communication. Instead, start off the conversation with I statements, telling them how it made you feel to find the drugs. Like, I'm worried about you, or I'm sad that you broke my trust. When you share your feelings about their behavior, your child is not required to defend themselves, only to defend their actions. Then move the conversation on to where you found the drugs. The kid may become angry or confrontational at this point and try to turn the focus of the conversation from their behavior to yours. Don't let them do that. If you're parenting a kid who you suspected was taking drugs and you wanted to see if your suspicion was correct by going through their belongings, you are only having this conversation because you were right. A key to any teaching conversation with a child, foster child or not, is to keep the focus on their behavior and the fact that your job as a parent is to keep them safe. Point out that it was their behavior that led you to take the action you thought was necessary to keep them safe. If you need to search their room, their clothes, car, backpack, or belongings to find out if they're taking drugs, it's your right and your duty to do so. If they suggest that you should have confronted them rather than invade their privacy, you can redirect the conversation with I statements like, well, I felt it was better to see if I was correct before I initiated a conversation with you. Or, I know I would have felt bad if my parents accused me of breaking a rule I hadn't broken. So I was trying to make sure that my suspicions were correct before I talked to you.
You could have gotten kicked out of school for this, possibly even arrested. And now you broke one of
That boy is on his way out the door, in the street, and homeless if he doesn't shape up now.
You could also use a how question, which is another powerful tool in the parenting arsenal. Like, how would it have made you feel if I asked you if you were taking drugs and you weren't? This allows them to frame your behavior in terms of their own feelings. It also opens up the floor for a dialogue instead of a rant. Once the conversation moves past your discovery of the drugs or their drug abuse, you need to be loving but firm. They broke a rule and betrayed your trust in how they conduct themselves outside the house. Even if you've previously explained why you don't want them to take drugs, explain again. Don't lecture or preach, just give them the facts. First of all, make sure they understand that if they're a minor, taking, selling, growing, or possessing drugs is illegal in all 50 states. This includes jurisdictions where the use and/or possession of marijuana is legal or punishable by a fine. You do not want to see them end up in jail or with a criminal record that they'll be required to report when applying for college, financial aid, or for a job. Secondly, marijuana affects alertness, coordination, concentration, and memory. While under its influence, it's hard to judge distance and react to sounds on the road and can cause depression and anxiety. In other words, it's very bad for their safety and their health. As their parent, it's your job to protect them from all of these variables. If there's a history of drug and alcohol abuse or addiction in your family or the family of your foster child, you should also make sure they understand their genetic predisposition to addiction and substance abuse. Ask them if they feel this might be a problem for them. Offer them the opportunity to speak with a professional if they think they might need help. If they want to discuss any of the facts you've shared with them, be open to the discussion. Be prepared to show them where your facts came from. Keep this part of the discussion focused on the facts, not on emotions. The fact is that marijuana is dangerous for them. The fact is you as their parent must make sure they're safe and healthy. The fact is that you had created a set of rules to keep them safe, and they knowingly broke the rules. If the child has lied to you about the drugs, as Michael did, this is also behavior you need to address. Ask them how they feel when they're lied to. Taking this tactic ties their emotions and feelings to yours and allows them to learn from their past experiences without you needing to lecture. Let them know that lying further damages your trust in them and will lead to you questioning what else they may be lying to you about. Assuming you and your child have already discussed the consequences of their drug use or possession, you just need to apply them. The lying should bear its own natural consequences, separate from the drug involvement. These consequences should be relevant to keeping your child safe and healthy and recreating a trusting relationship between the two of you. If you've not already discussed consequences, you can involve your child in designing them. Make sure that the consequences are connected to the use or possession of drugs, lying, safety, and trust. For instance, they may have to come in earlier on the weekends or surrender their car keys so you know they're not out at parties or driving while under the influence. If their friends are all using drugs, you may have to restrict out-of-school relationships with those friends. You may even want to drug test them for a period of time. Always make it clear that you want to trust them again. It may take a while for them to regain your trust, but that you're sure they will. Let's see if using some of these tips could have led Sarah to achieve the outcome she wanted.
Hey,
Hi. How was school?
same as yesterday, but the game's tomorrow, so at least I have something to look forward to.
Is Ricky starting?
No, he's injured. Bill is.
Hey, there's something I need to talk to you about. Is this a good time, or should we wait till after dinner?
Am I in trouble?
There's something that you've done that's really bothering me. I need to discuss it with you.
Okay. Now it's fine, I guess.
Good. I was going through the wash, and I found your jeans on the floor, and I went through the pockets, and there you go.
Busted. Well, it's not mine. I mean, I was just holding it for Tom.
Michael, are you telling me the truth?
Are you calling me a liar?
No, but if it is Tom's, then I should call his mother and tell her what I found.
No, wait, stop. Don't do that.
Why not?
Because he'll be pissed at me.
Well, I don't care. If it were you, I'd want her to call and tell me.
Stop. It's mine.
Well, thank you for telling me the truth. I know that must have been hard for you because you've broken the rules.
Yeah, well, the rules are stupid, okay? Everybody smokes weed. It's even legal if you have the little card.
No, it's not legal if you're a minor. You can't even get a card.
Yeah.
Because of the potential health risk.
Smoking one joint doesn't even really give me that
Well,
high.
that may be your experience, but there are several strains of marijuana.
I know, but that...
You can't predict how you will react. Plus, you could have gotten expelled from school for this.
Well, yeah, that's
Look,
not...
You know what? You've broken the house rules. I can't even trust you right now.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. I believe you are sorry. But there are still consequences for breaking the rules.
I know. I'm grounded, right? And no driving for a month.
But what about the lying? Michael, what can you do to help me trust you again? Really? Because right now I feel like anything I say to you, if it poses a potential problem, you're going to not be truthful to me.
I don't know. Like, what are you talking about?
Like if you were to go out and smoke somebody else's weed.
I guess you could drug test me if that would make you feel better.
Yeah, that right now, it really, really would. But what if I test you at the end of this week, and then every week for the next month? And then, if I can trust you again, we'll stop.
Okay. No, that's fine with me.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll take care of this.
Good. So, can I go now? Because I have a lot of homework to do.
Really? I've never seen you so enthusiastic about your damn homework. Yeah, sure. Go. We're done. Bye. Fine.
And it can be that simple. Nobody yelled or stormed off, but that's not going to always be the case with teens who are breaking the rules. Sometimes, despite parents using all the proper tools, kids will not be ready to deal with their actions. When this is the case, don't give up on them and don't chase them down. If you're not aggressive and accusatory, the child will eventually cool down. Then you can reapproach them. It may take several attempts to communicate before you can have a meaningful conversation. But as long as you keep the temperature down every time you try, ultimately the kid will be willing to talk. In this scenario, Michael tried to maintain his lie, but instead of calling him a liar, Sarah asked him about his behavior. Michael tried to deflect by changing the conversation from his behavior to Sarah's rules, but using facts, Sarah steered the conversation back to Michael's behavior. She didn't lecture or preach, but kept educating Michael, letting him know that she cared about his health and safety. She also didn't let Michael's actions cause her to lose her temper, which would have steered the conversation off track and thrust Michael into a defensive posture. By empowering Michael to collaborate with her in constructing appropriate natural consequences to address his breach of trust, Sarah was able to achieve her goals and end the conversation on a positive note. Is any of this easy to do? No. It would be much easier to react without thinking. But the result would be two very angry people with an even more fractured relationship. Instead, by staying as calm as possible and using good communication techniques, Sarah was able to give Michael the thoughts she wanted to communicate, and Michael was able to really process them. You can do this too.
For more information on the techniques used in this video and for downloadable cheat sheets, go to www.getresultswitheffectiveconversations.com. That's www.getresultswitheffectiveconversations.com. Although these scenarios end with the child accepting correction, that's not going to always be the case the very first time you practice these parenting skills. But with patience, practice, consistency, and time, you will get better results with these techniques.
We are so grateful to the contributors to these videos. They include Greg and Mary Thompson, Markel Insurance Company, Connie Clendenin, MSW, Valley Teen Ranch, Dr. Karen Bergstrom, Safe Families for Children, Irene Clements, National Foster Parent Association, Corky Kinsvater, MSW, Talon Grief, CMHC, LPC, Mara Ziegler, MSW, Barbara Thatcher, MSW, Susan Hess, LCSW, IL, USC School of Social Work, and Nicholas Bruce, LMFT, Compassion LA.